stand to the back of the building. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with public comment number one. Anyone here would like to speak? Simone?
Good evening, Simone from Vista. I wrote it down just so I stay on point. We spent so much time fighting how Sustainable Westchester was improperly imposed on us while having a sitting board member who is the program director of this very company. Imagine a program that costs more than others, that you are enrolled in without your knowledge, that you have to opt out of. It was only because our one Republican council member who joined together with two of her Democratic colleagues to vote this program out of Lewisboro that we got out. Tony, our town supervisor, supported Dan and his program with absolutely zero concern about his constituents being tricked into this program. Every time a vote came up, Tony stuck with Dan and voted for the program. When this was sent to the ethics committee, and I believe it was a party of one at that time, possibly two, they questioned Tony unbeknownst to the rest of the board and decided there was no conflict. Well, thankfully we have a judicial system, and guess what? We are vindicated. Andrea Rendo, Richard Sklarin, and Mary Shaw, you're all vindicated. Finding was that it was not only improper, but actually unconstitutional. The rest of us who spoke up at the meeting and meetings after meetings feel vindicated as well. We spoke up for ourselves, our neighbors, and continued even after being treated poorly to protect us all. So what now? Does the ethics board get disbanded? Are there any ramifications for our town supervisor or councilman? Doubtful, because in our town, country and state, county and state, people fail to vote for common sense, even if they are taking money out of our pockets. I want to end by thanking Councilwoman Rendo, who even when she faced backlash over and over, she pursued what she believed was right. And Councilman Rich Sklarin, who I'm sure got a lot of help from his party for doing the right thing and leading the charge. And Councilwoman Shaw, who for one time broke from her party and was publicly chastised and even threatened to be primaried by her party members. Thank you three for doing the right thing for the rest of us. I appreciate it.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Hello, my name is Elena Dunn. I live in South Salem. I just want to mention a few future events looking towards the future, namely tomorrow. I'm sure you'll talk about in the polling of the board. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we are having a wonderful ceremony here at 11 o'clock. The vets will be honored. John Lemke has really grown the Veterans Advisory Committee and has made these events bigger and bigger over the years. It's really wonderful to see. And the Fantastic Lions are going to be grilling and providing lunch for the vets. And I hope that the cold doesn't keep people away. It's going to be chilly tomorrow, so bundle up and come out and honor these vets. Another thing tomorrow happening at the library, on Zoom tomorrow at 7 o'clock is a focus group. We're asking community members to voice their voices to us, let us know what they're thinking about the library and programs that they might want to see or lending materials that they might be interested in. So you can find all that information on the library website, lewisborolibrary.org. You could sign up. 7 o'clock tomorrow is a Zoom one. And then on Sunday at 3 o'clock at the library is another focus group for parents and their children. So I hope that we hear a lot from the community. That would be great. Thank you.
Anyone else? About on Zoom?
There's no one.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Okay, next we have communications.
This is from Jen Bailey. South Salem. Dear Lewisboro Town Board, as a member, but not on behalf of the Lewisboro Garden Club, I want to extend a sincere thank you to Tony and Mary for joining us at the Golden Roads daffodil planting on November 1st in Town Park. I truly appreciate seeing the leadership show up for community projects like this. I know it means a lot to the volunteers and neighbors. Your willingness to chat with the scouts, connect with other volunteers, and yes, literally get your hands dirty, remind us how committed you are to this town. Even if the shoveling technique could use a tiny bit of fine tuning, Tony. The enthusiasm you both showed was absolutely perfect. Thank you again for your time, your spirit, and your support. I'm grateful for leaders like you who show up, rain, shine, and mud included. Warmly, Jen Bailey, South Salem.
Okay. I have another one here. Although my shoving techniques were actually very good, so. So this is a letter from PERMA, which is our Public Employer Risk Management Association. They sent this, basically it's a letter notifying us of a grant that we received. It's a slip and fall prevention grant for $5,000. And I'd like to thank Chief of Staff Kerry Wolf for pursuing this. So thank you very much, Kerry. This is going to go in handy. Okay. All right, that's all I have for communications. Next, we'll start with the discussion of the 2026 library budget. And here we have Cindy.
Did you read the consent agenda?
Okay, so I skipped right over that. So consent agenda.
Handy.
I know. And I have it here twice. And consent agenda. So I'd like to motion to go ahead and approve minutes of October 27th and November 3rd.
So,
And the monthly reports for the building department and police department.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No old business, so we go right into new business. So discussion of the 2026 library budget. And I'll put up, yeah, I'll display the presentation here.
PTR board president, Sparkle. And we also have Madam Chair Holter. I was gonna say it wrong, who's our treasurer.
May I get to start?
Hold on one second, just get the presentation up here.
Introduce yourself.
Screen. Nope, there you go. Sean, am I screen sharing?
it's not sharing now.
Okay, now it should be, okay. Okay, all yours, Maggie.
My name is Maggie Legee, and I'm the president of the Board of Trustees at the Lewisboro Library. I'm also a South Salem resident. I wanted to first just start by thanking the town board for all of its diligence on the development of our town budget this year. Having witnessed this process over the last several years now, I really appreciate your continued efforts to be thorough and transparent. I always enjoy hearing from the heads of our town departments about what is top of mind for them and what resources they need to meet today's challenges and plan for the future. Thank you also for allowing the library, which is not an official department, but is the beneficiary of about 3% of the town's budget, to present its own budget to you all. So Lewisboro residents have a chance to learn about the library's contributions to our town and the modest investment that makes them possible. The Board of Trustees, which is made up of 15 individuals from across our hamlets, has been hard at work this past year to help ensure the library remains an important resource for every Lewisboro resident. The board has 8 committees focusing on programs, fundraising, policy, and more. They meet on a regular basis in addition to our monthly meetings to ensure we're hiring the best talent and remaining competitive with other employers, to plan fundraising events and campaigns to raise critical funds for the library's endeavors, to review and update our policies, to grow the board, to care for the building, which is now more than 10 years old and is starting to show signs of wear and tear, requiring us to prioritize the growing list of deferred maintenance, not dissimilar from what you're hearing from the town departments, and to enable the staff to manage our collection of books and digital resources and develop and run the programs that make the library the heart of our community. And last but not least, the Finance Committee works tirelessly to ensure the library is fiscally responsible. This time of year is spent reviewing last year's actuals, synthesizing the needs of the different areas of the library, and preparing an ambitious yet realistic budget for the year ahead. As you all here tonight know really well, that's not a small task. Similar to the official town departments and to years past, the library was once again asked to reduce its original request, and the Finance Committee met 2 additional times to make those cuts. Before Cindy walks you all through the budget in more detail, I want to highlight that the library, which again, generally only accounts for about 3% of the town budget, is asking for a total increase of $85,000 for the year ahead. The highway department is tentatively asking for about $400,000. The police department is asking for $160,000. Parks and Rec is asking for $124,000. The list goes on. I know all of these requests are made humbly and with tremendous thought. They are made by the incredible department heads who are experts at what they do and who are dedicating their lives to this town. Much like the library staff and those of us who volunteer for the library. These requests are made because they're needed and because we all want to serve our town to the best of our ability, which requires resources. And together, we're all what makes Lewisboro a great place to live. With all that in mind, the library's requested increase of $85,000 is modest, and it reflects rising hard costs and the beginning of a much needed and more comprehensive maintenance plan. It also takes into account more aggressive fundraising efforts on the part of the staff and library board through our mailed appeals, check your mailboxes, our monthly fundraising events and campaigns, and our annual library fair, which just had another record-breaking year and is a community favorite event welcoming more than 2,700 visitors in a single day. In order to both care for our physical space and retain our quality staff and be a library of the 21st century, we will need to be more ambitious in the future, investing more and allowing for the library to grow and evolve alongside our growing and evolving town. It is a truly staggering reminder for me each year that all of the services the library provides to the town are done with less than 4% of the town's budget each year. We're talking about less than $57 per resident in a single year. As you listen to Cindy, I hope you remember that the library is more than a repository of books. It's a meeting space for all ages. It's a place to work remotely, for a student to be tutored. It's where young families meet for the first time and become lifelong friends. It's where seniors discuss the recent hit novel, or where crafters come together to chat about the knitting circle. It's where our residents gather to learn about first aid, financial planning, and the latest tech. The library is the heart of the community, and in that sense, it's priceless. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thanks, Maggie.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present our budget to you today. You have copies of the presentation in front of you.
So we have is the one handout and the one page, that's all you have? Just want to make sure I was doing.
Right.
Yeah,
The-
and the presentation.
Presentation's what we're going for, right?
Yep, but
Yeah,
I
just wanna make sure.
gave everybody a print copy of the presentation. I also gave you another copy of the budget because it's small in the presentation. So, you know, you could see it, and another chart of the per capita public support also in larger form for you. It's just duplications of what is in the presentation. As Maggie said, we are asking for an increase of $85,028 for a total of $697,961 total contribution from the town. You can see the income, the library subtotals. We have increased our ambition of raising money through our annual appeals by $5,000. Fines, we stopped charging fines this past year as part of not only a national trend, but most of the libraries in Westchester County. Of course, we still charge for lost books, but overdue fees are a thing of the past. General fundraising are our trustee run events, the concerts, the plays, the comedy shows, trivia nights. That's general fundraising. The New York State aid, local aid to libraries is staying the same. Interest income, we've made a greater effort to invest our operating reserve. And the library fair, we put in a very, very ambitious gross increase to 73,000. And that will be a stretch, but we will give it a try. So the library income subtotal has also gone up as well. Any questions about the income statement?
So the 2025 reflect what was budgeted or?
Budgeted.
Just, okay.
And that number for the library fair, that's the gross, right? The net is in the,
Well, is there something in here with the actuals?
no. We've never brought that to this meeting. We just bring our budgets.
So how much did the library fair bring in this year?
We think it's about 48,000 net.
Net.
Yeah. Of course, it still takes a while for the dust to settle. Some bills and some checks still show up all the way to the end of the year, but I
It's
think
still nice. I mean, you guys were usually ranging between 38 and 40, so
Yeah.
it's nice to hear.
yes, it was, we were very, very pleased. And of course, it was a beautiful day and that makes all the difference.
And there were a couple of other things that you expanded on, like the children's events. and
Yes, the kid zone is
The-
really great.
The dunk tank.
Yeah, John Winter, our superintendent of highways, his wife Chloe,
Yeah.
has done a wonderful job reorganizing the kids zone for the fair. Made a big difference. So.
Are there any records reflecting the actual income referable to fundraising components?
I'm not in this presentation, but well, this is pretty realistic. The 115, we're pretty close. Well, of course, we haven't had our the annual appeal for 2025 just went out this past weekend. So up until this point, we're on par, we're on track for the amount that we budgeted, but we won't know, of course, until the end of the year.
Yeah, because I got that. So it says the target was, man, I got it now. So it's the
Yeah.
target is 75,000. So
For
I
this, for that
for
appeal,
that, yeah.
yeah.
So just trying to get, I mean, based upon the budget, how the library has done thus far as the gifts and fundraising.
So should we understand that for next year, you're projecting even higher receipts from the library fair? Like, significantly?
Yes, it is a stretch. It is a stretch. But we're trying to make we have a lot of demands as we'll go over in the expenses. So that's what we put in for now and, hopefully it will be a beautiful day. Okay, moving on.
Next.
Before I go through the expenses, I just want to say that the library is facing several financial challenges at this time that will affect the operation and performance of the library, prompting our request for greater funding from the town. And I'll talk about that in the notes, but if you want to take a look at the expenses, first of all, the salary and benefits, I'll just read from my notes about that section, and you do also have them in your packet. Salary and benefits, we had to raise salaries in 2025 to attract and retain new full-time staff at substantially higher market rates to replace staff lost at the beginning of the year. We were without a children's librarian and a teen adult librarian for a few months in the beginning of the year. It took us a while to hire somebody because the salary we were accustomed to paying was not enough to attract people. We ended up raising the full-time children's librarian salary 17.3% in order to attract somebody to that position. And the teen adult librarian salary had to be raised by 6.9%.
And what are the amounts of those?
Well, I'd rather not say they're particular people and.
Oh, the actual ones, okay, I thought there was outside, okay.
Yeah, we hired them in the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
But
we had to raise the salary in order to hire people.
But Cindy, those
Yeah.
numbers were budgeted in 2025.
They were not,
Oh, they were not.
yes, because we lost those two people in the beginning of 2025.
Okay.
And I mean, lost two people from those positions.
Mhm.
Took us a few months to hire somebody, and we realized that when we were looking at the market rates in the area, we were not paying enough in order to attract people. We're very, very happy with those people that we
Right.
did hire. But salaries are going up, and we have to compete against the other libraries in the area in order to attract people. The second factor is that we need to keep salaries at a level be above the minimum wage increase to $17 an hour. Now I'm talking about our hourly workers, who are our clerks mostly. We do pay more than minimum wage, but since the minimum wage is going up, we need to raise those salaries as well. And also, we are subject for two of our full-time employees to the exempt employee minimum salary threshold set by New York State for 2026 is rising by 3%. So if you want to categorize a position as exempt and not subject to overtime, you have to meet that threshold. And I think it's about, don't quote me, I think it's 66,000 or something, is the minimum you would have to pay somebody to be in that category, which is important for us. Salary levels rose to provide the return to our pre-COVID library operating hours of 7 days a week, including Sunday and late Tuesday evening hours. We increased our hours by 13%. This change was requested in our patron survey and by input from the town board last year. So we were able to open this fall on Sundays and late Tuesday evenings. This also includes a 2.8% COLA above base salaries increase for 2026. And health, as I'm sure you know, also in your own budget, healthcare premiums are predicted to rise 10 to 15% in 2026. We have put 15% as a placeholder in anticipation of a substantial night shift premium raise. We keep our fingers crossed that it won't be that much, but we do have to account for that. I believe your own budget has got a similar.
Yeah, I don't recall. I was going to ask Annie. I think she's on, Annie Burnham.
Is she on the Zoom?
If you can. I think we put in a lower percentage for the healthcare, but I just want to check with Annie.
Okay. Well, we could certainly adjust that.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to be prudent, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
We've been pretty lucky these past few years. It was not as much as anticipated, but everything that I'm hearing is that we're really going to get slammed
Right.
in 2026. So that's the salary and benefits line, and you can see it's going up 50,000 over last year. Any questions about that? Okay.
Did you want to?
You know what? Your is your
microphone.
computer mic on?
I just unmuted it for Annie. Did you want to ask Annie to unmute?
I'll ask her right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we understand that the health insurance is going to go up on our side as well, so it's a valid point. Add it to the challenges of this budget.
Annie, do you recall what percentage we put into the tentative?
I think right now we put in 5%.
I don't think that's enough.
It is.
It's a hopeful percentage.
Very helpful.
Yeah, I thought it was lower than 15, but
Yeah, definitely lower than 15.
Yeah, we usually put in 10%, and then we
Yeah.
were pleasantly surprised the past couple of years, but
right.
I mean, I've had years where it's gone up 12 or 13%, you know. over
Yeah, I remember
50%.
last year we were surprised as well.
Yeah,
put in
we were
higher,
very-
came in
yeah.
lower, but
Yeah, we were
next
very
year
lucky.
it's going to be different.
Hopefully, we will have the answer to that soon. They usually, they do, Harry knows, we usually.
Right,
have-
we do hear about that around like late November, early December, right before the budget gets adopted. We hear what NISHIP is going to raise it to.
Right, but we can certainly make that adjustment when we know for sure.
Right,
Thank you, Annie.
you're welcome.
Library fair expense. We've increased it by $3,000 because that is actually what we ended up spending this past year was 24,000. So we know that's a realistic thing. Payroll administration is going up. Our pension administrator, Vanguard, we already know what the increases are going to be for next year. The fees for that. General fundraising expenses, just a very small amount. We know was going up. Books, media, and periodicals, we have only put up a very modest amount. As I've said before, we have a very difficult time keeping up with the demand for digital materials, the ebooks and the audiobooks. I'm not even sure. I don't think this is really going to help that much, but in the acknowledgement that so many budget lines are going up for us, we kept that as low as we could. WLSIT, we get all of our technology services on our shared cooperative catalog and hardware from the Westchester Library System. That's a firm number. They've already let us know that's the amount that's going up. Utilities, I think we all know the electrical cost has gone up a tremendous amount. Insurance general, we've been pretty lucky. We are part of a national Northeast Library Safety Group. And even though the insurance cost went up 10% this past year, liability, because we belong to that group and that group had a good record, we actually got a 5% dividend back. So the $1,000 increase we're anticipating, hopefully we will get. That's the net figure after we hopefully get the dividend again next year. Legal and accounting, as I've mentioned before, we started having a full audit every 3 years and a review for the other 2 years in between it. And also we've had some legal costs this year as well. We're writing an employee handbook. So those things are covered there. Professional services, the long range plan that you've heard about. We have hired a consultant to help research and to write it. And that is, let's see, I don't know, 2/3 of the cost. We are breaking that over 2 years. The cost for the consultant is $25,000. Part of it will be paid this year. Part of it will be paid in 2026. Office supplies. We've had a very turbulent year with our book distribution company. I don't know if you've heard, Baker and Taylor's gone out of business. And that means we've had to go to some other companies. Baker and Taylor used to cover the books for us. The companies that we're going with now, every library in the country is also going to these new companies, and we're not able to get the books covered at this time. So we've had increased staff costs and we've had to buy more materials to cover the books before they can be processed. Hopefully that will calm down in a few months, but it's been a great wrenching thing in the library world to have this 100-year-old company go out of business that used to supply and process our books. Marketing, we realized that our costs were running lower than anticipated, so we lowered that a bit. Programs, we put up by $3,000, and the $18,000 is approximately what we are spending this year. We do have a new children's librarian and a new teen adult reference librarian, and they've been doing a tremendous job, and we've been giving them a little bit more money for their programs. Custodial and maintenance, that is related to our aging building, which I will talk about a little bit more. And capitalized building repairs as well is related to that. Stephen might say a little bit more about that when he has his chance. And professional development, we do want to send our 2 new staff members to the American Library Association conference next year. Be very good for their development. Any questions about that so far?
Nope. On to the next slide.
Okay. Yeah. So the library has been underfunded for years, as evidenced by the list of per capita public support for all Westchester libraries. Lewisboro Library has ranked at the bottom of this list for many years. We can't catch up as other municipalities increase funding towards their libraries. And then you can change the slide, Tony.
I'm curious why there isn't so we're 37th, Mount Vernon is 38th. There's
Yeah.
a number.
Mount Vernon,
They're having a lot of issues.
yeah, they had a lot of issues. They almost lost their certification as a public library because they were not providing the financial information to the state they were supposed to.
Right.
And that's why that's left. But who knows what their real financials are, but they're,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Every year, the libraries are supposed to supply a report of who's on their board of trustees, who their employees are, what they services they provide, and their general budget outline every year. And if you don't do that, you can lose your certification.
Yeah, Mount Vernon missed submitting their report 2 years in a row. That was very serious. So this is
People-
2023, which is the most recent that we've been given so far. They did change it a little bit. It used to be public support per capita. Now they changed it to public support per card holder. I don't know why they did that. The numbers are different, but you can see it doesn't matter how you measure it, and you're still at the bottom. And I have highlighted some of the other libraries in the area, our peers in the area. So for us, we're getting 73 and 53 cents per card holder. Ruth Keeler contributes $122.
And Ruth Keeler's North Salem for.
Correct, yeah. Bedford Free, 149, Bedford Hills, 172, Katona, 193, Pound Ridge, $244 per card holder. So you can see, I just picked out the ones that are nearby. And that's the amount that they get, either through taxes or through contribution from their municipality.
How many cards do we currently have?
Oh, about 5,000. We had a huge purge last year because it hadn't been purged during the COVID years. We didn't want to take anybody's card away when they were relying on the digital material, but it's beginning to build back up again. We were over 6,000 at one point, and it's slowly building up again.
So then less than 50% of the residents have library cards?
Yes, but you have to understand, and some families only have one card for the whole family. Right? Most people don't have
Right.
cards for every member of their family.
I can testify to that,
Yeah, you know, the parents have them for their children and everything, so.
or their spouse.
So, if you want to go to the next slide, I did go over the salary and benefits already.
Oh.
Yeah, keep
Right.
going while you're there. No, that's for
Right.
everybody to
That's
see,
that one.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And I went over the salary and benefits. Now on to building issues. The library building is now in its 10th year since our completed renovation and expansion, and now faces new maintenance issues. We are trying to prevent higher repair costs later by spending in areas now where we are past the useful life for facilities and where we have deferred maintenance. Our HVAC system experienced some equipment failures during this past year, replacement. So we've tried to be more anticipatory and hired a company that we felt is going to do a better job of maintaining the equipment. The company we had before was less expensive, but they overlooked things and there were a lot of problems. Lighting upgrade was required during the current fluorescent lighting is being phased out by the industry. And if you've been by the library, we're in the process right now of replacing the fluorescent with the LED lights. That's why we were closed for 2 days in order to get that done. Expanded preventative maintenance is needed, in particular with the HVAC systems and pest and rodent control. The mice really seem to like us these days. Physical plant items such as automatic doors, oil burners, carpeting, interior painting, water heater will need to be replaced in the next few years. And outdoor maintenance, including extensive tree work. We have a lot of trees that need attention. There's a big old maple in the front that's really not doing well. We're going to cut some of the branches now, but I think that's going to have to come down. Some of the trees that are close to the building are getting a little too big, need to be done. The apple tree needs attention. It's getting too big. We need to build and maintain a reserve for capital upkeep and replacements. Any questions about that?
What's, so is there any estimate as far as what's going to be needed referable to building aspect of?
Yes, Steve, I think Stephen, you going to talk about that?
430,000 over the next 5 years.
Oh, Did you say 430,000?
130,000,
Yeah.
sorry, over the next 8 years, roughly 54,000 a year.
No, on that point, what's the current amount of the operating reserve that the library has?
Around unrestricted about $500,000.
That's the capital campaign. That's the capital. Yeah. We have about $500,000 in the development of the capital, which would be the basis of if we were to renovate the library in a big way or build, completely renovate it again, as you know, we did 10 years ago. When we started that building campaign, 12 years before that, we had $800,000. Then we had a building campaign that we got to the total between 1.5 and $2 million. Now we're back at our capital for the future of $500,000 for renovating the library in the future.
And if I may add, that $1.2 million added 33% space inside the same footprint. So it was, I think, something to be proud of.
Right.
There's no restriction on utilizing part of that money in the operating reserve, so it's a future maintenance needs, is there?
We are trying to figure that out right now. We've been trying to talk to the auditors about the difference between restricted and unrestricted, because a lot of that money was raised with the understanding that it would go towards a new building. And so we're trying to get to the bottom of, with our auditors, exactly how much of that could be used.
So you're telling me the library doesn't know right now?
Not to
Is
the
any
not to
restrictions
the
on the use of
dollar.
that money, or to what extent?
We're trying to find out exactly what it is. Yeah. We're going back 25 years and we want to be sure of our facts before we do anything.
Well, surely that money can be used for a new HVAC system, which I saw that you were anticipating replacing. I mean, that's a major capital expenditure.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Right.
Yes, we, as I said earlier.
If I could come up to the
Yeah.
mic, folks at home can hear you.
And Steve, if you could just quickly introduce
Stephen
yourself.
Hunter.
Thank you.
I live in South Salem, and I'm the treasurer of the library. As I said earlier, we estimate that we need to set aside around $54,000 a year for for maintenance that's coming up over the next 8 years. Approximately, we've identified 430,000, and of that, about a third at this point is for items of equipment that are beyond their useful life. The oil burner, for instance, is maybe 10 years beyond its life. It's still running, but it's going to need to be replaced sometime. We estimate in the next 8 years. And we are looking to the town to give us $19,000 towards our capital budget, and we will be taking the rest from our reserves. Okay.
Can you point to that on the budget?
Yeah.
Can you?
Tony, can you put the budget page up?
Yeah, it's the,
It's the one that says capitalized building repairs.
oops,
There you go.
it's at the bottom here, 19,000.
Can you make that a little bigger for our friends at home? Bless you. Or not?
I
If you
think our
can.
friends at home could probably see better than we can here. Yeah. So it's the third line, the capitalized building repairs, which was 12,500 in 25. And the request is for 19,038.
So Rich, I'm just gonna say,
Makes
great
sense.
question. The amount we're asking for in this budget actually doesn't reflect the thousands of dollars of capital expenses that we have. We're only asking the town to cover about $19,000 of those capital expenses. The rest will have to match out of that reserve we're talking about. But similar to what other department heads have said, if you spend down that balance, there is no balance to earn revenue for you year over year to pull from. And for your next capital campaign when the building does eventually fail, or we need something bigger or newer. So 19,000 is a pretty modest ask this year, and we're gonna match it probably by more than double to put our contributions in. to those capital expenses from that restricted fund.
I'm just, having been on the library board for 6 years, I understand the challenges quite well. Has there been any discussion in the board? Because one of the issues, and this goes to what Cindy's talking about, having been underfunded for years, has there been any revisiting of the potential topic is putting forth a proposal to have a library taxing district? I mean, one of the, because that, I understand that was attempted, I don't know how, I have no idea how long ago that was.
2010.
Okay, so it's 15 years ago. I mean, one of the things as far as the being an association library, as I understand, is the fact that the library does not have any direct taxing authority as there are in other municipalities. Is that something that the library board has given any discussion towards maybe putting forward again?
Yes, it's up for discussion at the next finance committee meeting to explore this further. Having seen our neighboring town do that, we want to follow suit if it makes sense. We're absolutely looking into it. Just to go back to those numbers that we talked about deferred maintenance, we incurred $35,000 of unanticipated costs this year, just from failures. And I think this is I've been on the board for about 4 years. This is the first time that we have a handle on what we think our future capital expenditures are going to be. And we're trying to deal with this proactively.
So, do you have, as treasurer, do you have an idea of, because my calculation is that, so the fundraising is in the 16-17% approximate of total expenses. That's what's putting forward. Do I have that?
No, it's 30%. It's 30%. The town pays 70%, and everything else is 30% that has to be covered by fundraising and outreach and programming.
And if that's
I have a little bit more unless you got some, if you wanted to say your piece now.
well, I just say I was going to make an appeal for you to approve our budget. The library is perhaps the one resource that the town has that every member of this community can benefit from, whether you're a child, a teen, an adult, a senior, or housebound. We can service you either over the internet or physically with coming to the library with books. And I think we are a very important asset. The other thing I wanted to say is approximately 20% of our budget is discretionary. The rest isn't. And by discretionary, I mean we could keep the lights on without spending money on new books, new media, legal and accounting we could cut back on, but then we wouldn't be perhaps meeting our fiduciary responsibility. A lot of but approximately 80% of our costs are fixed. And so it's puts us in a bind. We don't really, we depend on the town for staying in business. We are committed to raising a very large percentage of our budget ourselves, and I'd hope that the town would support us. Yes.
I just have one more page.
Actually, I'm just sorry, just one more question. I know one of the important services that the library provides is the fact that you have access to everything within the Westchester library system, that you can request materials or book from somewhere else, and it could be transferred up here for you to use. I know that's in my office building, so I see them moving everything. So how much is that how does that work? Is that a fee as an association library that we have to pay, or how does that work?
I think Cindy can address it better than I can.
Thank you.
But my understanding is that if there's a popular book, we go to and we don't have it. We go to the very bottom of the list for everybody else in the districts that have it. They get that book before our patrons can get that book. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that's.
And why is that, or why are we at the bottom of that
Well,
list?
we all have to contribute to the pool. And we have a quote, kind of an honor system that for every 4 holds that are placed on a title, you should own at least 1 copy. So for example, if there's 8 holds, then I will add a second copy. But the way the algorithm works for the computer system for the holds is when a copy becomes available, somebody returns it. Oh, our patrons, and it's our copy. If the computer system looks at, okay, who's the next Lewisboro person? They will get that. If there are no Lewisboro people, then it will go to whatever person is at the top of the list, no matter where they're from. So when people come in and say, oh my God, I placed a hold and I'm number 300, well, I'm never going to get that book. I say, no, wait a minute. We own 3 copies of that book and there's like 9 people on hold for it. So you'll get a copy sooner. But that's the way the algorithm works. And if for some reason we don't have copies or not enough copies of what people are asking for, they will have to wait a much longer time. And the same is true of the ebooks as well, and the e-audios. Unfortunately, the way the publishers sell them to them, we have to buy licenses. You would think that if we own a copy that everybody could borrow it at once. No, the publishers won't let that happen. Only one person at a time.
Is it, correct me if I'm wrong, but also with the publishers' contracts, they've recently changed it so you can only have, for example, 1 seat per title license, and that you can only check it out so many times, like maybe 10 times.
Yes, that's true.
Then you have to buy another copy
Yep.
license.
They're metered.
Title.
Yeah, it's
again.
when we buy the title, when we buy the licenses for our digital content, it's metered either by time, a year, or by checkouts, 26 or 52 checkouts. When we've used that up, we no longer own a copy of it. We have to buy it again. With the digital material, the publishers really make it difficult
So
for
do we
us.
pay a set fee for that, or is it per transaction or something?
Per license, per license. So the new Dan Brown book, Secret of Secrets, if we buy we buy the license for the ebook, we buy the license for the audiobook, only 1 person can use it at a time. And we buy it for a year. And then when that year is over, we would have to buy another copy. Because a lot of people want to listen or read to that. I have had to buy multiple licenses for that title.
So we don't pay a set, in other words, to avail ourselves of all the resources of the Westchester Library System, do we pay?
We pay, we have, under the WLSIT budget, that's part of our fee for being part of the cooperative. We don't, the part of we've been, I don't want to say we're lucky, but actually, the Westchester County Legislature for the past several years has paid approximately $50,000 for the delivery service for the truck that goes around 7 days a week delivering things to us. So we were lucky that the county took up that. But the WLSIT budget is not only for the technological services that we have, but also for some of the digital content that we buy cooperatively. That is in that amount as well.
Does that include Hoopla, the movie
Yes, yeah.
platform as well?
Yeah.
And the music platform?
Pay for the Overdrive or Libby, if anybody's familiar with the Libby app. Those are the ones that we have to buy the licenses for, but the Hoopla company that we use also for digital material, that's the fee for that is built into the WLSIT line. And Canopy, the video streaming service, tutor.com, an online tutoring service that's available for the students, the children of the county, that type of thing. So I just want to finish up by saying, not only just a few other issues, non-labor expenses, increasing at levels significantly above inflation, including IT hardware and services, janitorial services, utilities, professional services. We're required by New York State to produce a long-range strategic plan every 5 years. And our plan is just over in 2024. We hired a consultant to help us research and write the plan. Cost is being spread out over 2 years. And we will be having a full audit in 2026 for fiscal year 2025 at a cost of $15,000 to $17,000. And I just wanted to mention again, the library digital content, the patron demand for ebooks and e-audio continues to accelerate rapidly. And then the last page just is just a little synopsis of how we're doing, upward trends in circulation of library materials. That includes print and digital, increased by 9.97% in 2024. So far, as of October, it's up 5.63%. Of course, the year's not over yet. Library visits increased by 5.21% in 2024. And as of October, 7.54% as of October year to date. Library cards issued increased by 24.8% in 2024. Sorry, I don't have the 2025 figure here. And program attendance in 2024 increased by 21.4%. And
What's the total number of people in the program attendance?
I don't have that here. I think it was about, I don't know, close to 6,000, I think in 2024. All ages, that's all ages.
That's total cumulative.
Yeah,
Year.
And you have to remember, only so many people can fit in the building at a time. So when they have a concert, you can't violate what the fire marshal set up.
Having set up and put away chairs, they have to.
anybody who's been on the library board has to do that one time or another.
What's
When you're not-
the maximum,
Retirees.
what's the maximum amount of materials a patron can take out at one time?
There's really no limit. There's really no limit. We don't really place a limit on people. I mean, I think technically it's like 50, but if a family has got several kids and they're homeschooling or whatever, they take out a lot and we don't really, limit them. And however, the digital is a different story. The Hoopla company that I talked about, the digital thing that we have cooperatively in the Westchester Library System, that is limited by, it was limited to 10 borrows a month. During COVID, we made a decision to let people borrow that amount. But now COVID's over. Also, the Westchester Library System with the IT costs increasing, the hardware in particular, we're having to cut that back to 5 borrows a month because we just,
The system's going.
yeah, the system. Exactly. We're not choosing the systems. It's because of rising costs. Unfortunately, that's one of the few things that is limited.
Mhm.
Print materials, no limit.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all very much. Okay.
Oh, Tony, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
What is the date that you'll be voting on your final budget in December?
I think we're targeting this, yeah, we've set a date as both the public hearing.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be December 8th is when we adopt. We have until the 20th, December 20th to adopt. But yeah,
Thank you.
but we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's the Portugal meeting, December 8th.
maybe.
Thank you for fixing my typo on the title.
Yeah, exactly. I will charge you.
Just goes to show you AI could not fix everything.
Right.
Tell me something funny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next. We have a resolution. Is Nicole Caviola here or where is she? Oh, there she is.
She's front row.
Um,
I'd like to put forward the resolution to appoint Nicole Caviola Superintendent of Recreation for the town of Lewisboro.
Second,
discussion?
Wait, just a
Wait.
second, let me ask council, do we have to put the date of the,
Now,
Gen one.
so
Effective January 1st.
January 1st.
2026.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All in favor?
I would like to add in the discussion that Nicole's worked hard with her team to make a difference for all of Lewisboro and has increased the programming. And we are looking forward to a new bathhouse in the beginning of the spring, as well as other improvements. So thank you.
I'll second the woo and comments and thank you for all you do on behalf of our community and your hard work. It's noticed and appreciated, and we're grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
I think, wait, we have one more thing to do. We have to vote
All in
on.
favor? Aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Okay,
Mercy.
congratulations, Nicole.
Now to the dive pool. Lee.
Oh, yeah, now you're still, step up to the,
Leaky dive pool.
yeah, tell us about the dive pool.
Okay, so over the summer, a sinkhole began forming outside of the fenced area of the dive pool. So we kind of kept an eye on it. And then in, I think the end of July, beginning of August, I had reached out to Joel to find out the amount of water that we were potentially losing. So it's not, the amount that I was given is not strictly for the dive pool itself, it's for the entire pool park. So over every 3 days or so, we were losing about 5 to 5,500 gallons, so 5,000 to 5,500. And I ended up reaching out to other municipalities to find out some recommendations of pool companies that others have used. And I had 3 that came out, so starting probably about mid-August. And explained to them what was going on. They said that they think the leak may be within the gutter system, based on where the sinkhole was forming outside of the fenced area. So.
So the sinkhole is a manifestation of a leak?
Correct.
Okay.
And after, so John, superintendent of highway, brought his back truck over and they sucked out all the dirt. And we could actually see the water flowing out from underneath the deck slabs. So that's kind of where we pinpoint this one area. And that's where both these proposals have suggested that we take the coping tile stones off of the top of the gutter system to really inspect the trench area there, but then also pressure test. One company suggested using a camera and then pressure testing, so.
What about thinking about like pool cleaning days, multiply that, but I mean some kind of, not food coloring, but something where you're putting it inside to see if you can identify the source that way.
So
It's going to.
So once the water level gets below the gutter system, it tends to stop leaking. So that's really why we're thinking it's in there.
How do you,
So,
can you?
What kind of pressure test? How can you?
so they do it through the pipes to find out if the pipes are actually cracked and
The
leaking.
pipes that take the water from the gutter.
From the
Correct, from the main drain of the dive pool. So that feeds into the surge tank, which is the big cement block next to the dive pool, but that also then pipes down to the main pool filter system. So we're trying to locate that.
Would the camera would help as well as the pressure test?
So this one company would start with the camera, and if nothing is visible, then would pressure test. The other company is just looking to pressure test.
So all in all, I saw some numbers. Diagnosis and treatment. What are we looking at?
So diagnosis,
Range-wise.
we don't know what treatment's going to cost,
Mhm.
right? So we're just trying to determine what the issue is and where. So one company was $6,395. and the other was 7,900. Third
Okay.
company came out. I hounded them for a month for the proposal and did not receive it, so
And let me guess, the 7,900 is the one with the camera.
no. it isn't.
Really?
So what's this 14,382
So I actually had asked
This
a
is another-
separate quote.
This extra item.
That extra item
Okay.
is supposed to be on a separate proposal.
Got it.
Is that the float line? Should, okay. Not on the agenda, so we have to talk about it.
No, it's not that.
That's another day.
Yeah.
So what are we proposing here this evening on this?
Well, we have two quotes. I think Nicole wants to move ahead with this.
Looking to move ahead, I do not have any funds left in my pool budget. There are some, there's probably almost $10,000 left in pool, but that is counted for. We are replacing valves in the surge tank. So I do have additional funds in camp that I propose to take from.
Is Annie still on?
She is. I did ask Annie,
Yes,
she said,
What did she say?
There was an email, hold on a second, is this it?
she suggested that it should come
From
from
the-
the current budget,
The camp funds?
correct, and then, you know, whatever the repair may be would potentially be a capital.
Capital expense.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here and I agree. Nicole and I spoke about this.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie.
Okay. I'm assuming you have a preference?
It's the lowest bid, right, that we're gonna go with?
It's, is it a bid or is it an RFP?
I'm sorry, our quote, the lowest quote.
Lowest quote.
Because it's under $10,000, we don't have to go, or under
20,
20,
It's just 35.
35.
Okay. It's good.
So
It's
it's
not.
25.
20
That's
for
for-
goods, 35 for projects.
Public works.
goods and services, so.
Okay.
So it's on the, that's the law. Your procurement policy has its own set of requirements that you get competitive quotes, which has been done. So you're going to accept the proposal from one of these entities to perform the
Going to
investigative work.
restrict it by the lowest.
You could take the higher one if you want.
Well, my
If you think it's
question is,
better value.
since, right, since Nicole interviewed them and met with them, whether she, you know, I'm not looking to spend more money, but
So
as
that-
we've learned, if we don't do it right the first time, it ends up costing us twice as much down the line, and that's not something you want to do. I want to make sure
We
that
do it
Nicole
right.
feels comfortable with the company that it is that she's asking us to choose here, that she feels confident that they're gonna be able to do the work. Not, I'm not asking you to bad mouth any of the companies, just comfort level. I mean, you know, this is,
Which company?
Let's phrase it this way. In your professional opinion,
thank you.
as superintendent of Parks and Recreation,
Just kidding. The lesser actually is. That contractor is proposing to remove up to 8 sections of the gutter. Okay, so the other, the more expensive, is removing at least 4 locations. So
so
the
we're
lesser
getting,
is removing more, you know, opening that trench space to see more. And providing camera and pressure testing.
Strong.
So, strong man.
Well,
correct.
it says we will,
you know,
services diagnostic only doesn't include. So this separate estimate, which is forthcoming, looks like we'll provide a separate estimate once the leak has been located.
that's
Right,
for
this is just to determine where our
whether,
leak is,
yeah.
what the issue is.
So in your opinion, the one that came in at the lower bid is actually doing more to get to the bottom of what the issue is.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
so
You wanna make the motion?
what's the name of the company again?
Strongman Pool Service.
I move that we authorize Nicole to set up an agreement with Strongman Pool Services not to exceed $64,000,
6,400.
$6,400
I thought she said it was the, is that the lower of the two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To diagnose the leaking issue in the pool area.
Second.
Discussion.
We can't get any kind of warranty as far as.
But that's the next step. We're just
Right,
doing
we should-
diagnosis right now.
What the issue is first.
Got a motion second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Okay. Okay. Next two items are related to Oak Ridge. So I sent the description out to the board on both of these. So the first one is an amendment to the Delaware Engineering Agreement for the Oak Ridge expansion project. This is the plant expansion. We had an agreement which included the engineering, which was under amendment number 2, which was 425,000. And because of the delays in the project, they're requesting another 25,000 to cover this invoice that was attached to that.
Was there another invoice that said 20 and it was 420, said 425? I thought I saw that. Maybe that's an
No,
earlier email.
That is it. The total is four
the 24,998.
Okay. Oh,
Is the
here, this
invoice.
is what it was.
Yeah, that was amendment number 1, where
Oh, okay.
we added the construction
That was
management to the engineering
I got it.
work.
I got it.
Yeah.
The source of this payment.
The source of this payment will be most likely from the PFAS settlement, the class action.
Something 87,000.
Well, we're gonna get a total of over 200,000. So we got one payment of 35 and change, and then we got one last week for like 75.
So, and if
Yeah.
you're still there, how do we earmark this one as far as where the funds are coming from? Is it one of those things we get reimbursed for later?
Yeah, what Tony said is the PFAS settlement.
So we have the money.
It's earmarked. Yeah, from there.
So,
And the total
So that-
25. I'm looking
Yes.
at the amendment of 1030-25. So the
Yes.
total final amended price is 425.
Correct. Yes.
You heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so I'll go ahead and motion that we approve the amendment number 2 to the engineering agreement we have with Delaware Engineering to cover this additional $25,000 in the construction management cost.
Contingent upon payment from the PFAS settlement.
Well, we're already received the payment.
It's already there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Discussion?
Roll call.
Oh, yeah. Rich,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Mary,
Mary Shaw, aye.
I'm aye. Dan?
And well shot.
Okay, great, thank you.
Now for the battery.
Yeah, next is it's a flow meter. And this is a flow meter that regulates the flow of chemicals used to treat the water. The current flow meter is not as reliable and leads to erroneous flow measurements to the control system. On November 4th, we had an erroneous flow measurement triggered overdosing of potassium permanganate, which will cause the water to turn pink. Potassium permanganate is a chemical that's used to, because the water is very high in iron and manganese, and potassium permanganate is an oxidant, which reduces iron and manganese. I think I got that straight.
Basically.
Yeah, well,
It's a soft.
hardness is different than the materials, but yeah.
So we need a new one.
So we need a new one.
Better job.
Now, the latest I got after this went out is that they think, so the meter that's there is, and they were planning on hopefully upgrading this as part of the expansion project. But the meter that's there, is the way it's wired. They're gonna put in a conditioner on the electrical wiring that goes to the control system. Because they think there might have been electric noise that was picked up and caused a misreading in the flow rate to the computer system. So they're gonna try that, but chances are we're gonna need a new meter anyway, so.
What's the
So
condition?
they try that before we just.
No, they recommended that we go ahead and approve this because they think we should put in this meter anyway.
This is the one they were gonna change the layout also to
Yeah, so
The fan is a separate issue.
well, no, there was another thing.
Meter was also.
There was another thing, they're replumbing the intake. This is what we approved,
Okay,
right, last time.
Right.
So they provided 3 quotes. The lowest quote is $5,960.
again. Do we want? Just because it's the lowest rate doesn't necessarily mean.
They recommended,
the-
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. They being VRI,
VRI.
the operator, they're the ones that.
okay.
They're satisfied with what they'll do. for
Yeah.
them.
So I'd like to go ahead, so a motion that we go ahead and approve the purchase of this flow meter for the Oak Ridge Water District
From Flowtech.
from Flowtech.
Yes.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Yes.
For 4 years, I've been talking to you about an organization, a company known as Sustainability Partners. Separate and apart from Sustainable Westchester's Sustainability Partners. We've met with them twice over the past 4 years. I keep bringing it to your attention. I keep saying that I think it's a really good idea for Oak Ridge, not only for the water district, but for the sewer district. And we have yet to schedule them to come in to address the whole board or give a presentation of what they're about. I think bringing them in would, over the long run, keep the costs down for the residents of the district, because as we know, the income varies greatly of those attached to that particular water district, from, extremely high to not so much. And, but the cost is bore by all. And I really think that a presentation from Sustainability Partners to the board at some point, I think the board may want to consider this moving forward as an option. I keep.
Yeah,
And it's been 4 years and.
So let me,
Presentation.
so we've had a couple of meetings. We never got a dollar figure because this is gonna add cost. That's another layer of management to the district. And even Erica Agro mentioned that. She wanted to know, well, what's it gonna cost us? They're not doing this for free. And we never got that information.
Because the way, and this is a very basic explanation of how it works, is that the company comes in and they take over projects such as electric buses, dams, electric systems, water systems, sewer systems, and they look at what needs to be done and what it would cost to bring them up to be state-of-the-art systems that provide the service to the best of the ability of the particular system, upgrade it, et cetera. And then they take that cost, which obviously will be a cost to the district, and they spread it out over an extremely long period of time, something like 30 or 40 years. So then the cost of improving the infrastructure and the cost of running a particular district is spread out over 30 or 40 years. So instead of the cost of a bond or something hitting the owners for 10 or 15 years, which, it goes over 30 or 40. So the likelihood that it gets spread over several homeowners of the same unit, of the same house, is more likely. And it takes a cost of this much and spreads it out over time so that it's felt this way. Unfortunately, the district bears the cost, as we're going to learn moving forward with potential sewer districts in the lakes and things of that nature, that those costs are bear solely by those who reside within the district and not the entire town. The other benefit, to my understanding, was that it still remains an asset of the town, so therefore the district still qualifies to apply for grants. And Sustainability Partners would aid in the application and the obtaining of those grants. So what I think is that it requires a presentation to the entire board, not just one member of the water district, who I hold in very high regard. Erica, I hold in very high regard, and myself and you. And I think that it's something that should be seriously considered. I've been saying that for 20 years. And that there is no number because they can't anticipate what the cost of upgrading, maintaining, and improving the infrastructure of Oak Ridge would be. But even walking around recently, it's clear to me that those who suffer live within the oldest portion those who suffer the most live within the oldest portion of Oak Ridge, where we have the outdated infrastructure. And although the town has tried to create to address the concerns and the issues, that it could be better. It could be so much better. And so
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. That's why I think there should be a
So the
presentation.
one that leaves a plant that's going through a piping system that supports everybody, whether it's new development or old development. So there's really nothing wrong with one installation, a condo versus a townhouse.
Except that the older
Um,
portion have dead ends up the streets. It doesn't work in a circular way.
Well, that's-
But we haven't even looked
Yeah.
into, and something that the owners have been asking for years is, can't we hire an engineer to come in and say, how do we make this old system state of the art? How do we do that? How
Right,
do,
so
maybe
to
there's a
hire
better
an
way to do it.
engineer, it
is a
costs
cost.
money.
And that is correct. And
Yes.
sustainability partners would come in and handle all of that.
Anyway, that we can certainly have them come and present to the board, but I like them to come with numbers.
They can't come with numbers until they've had an opportunity to review the system.
So let them review the system, have them come in with a offer to review the system.
Schedule them to
Yeah.
come in and give a
I have
presentation.
no objection to hearing their presentation. I just want to note that in terms of extending payments out 30 years or 40 years, you want to align that term with the life of the asset. It doesn't
Correct.
do anybody any good to take a asset that has 15-year lifetime and pay for it over 30. That just means.
But it's continuous.
I'm just saying, I just
Upgrades,
wanted
maintenance.
to add that clarification.
And I would think that all of you would have different questions than I. And look at it from different perspectives. And I'm open for someone changing my mind by asking questions that I didn't think to ask. But I think that it's appropriate to at least have the entire board brought up to speed on what they could potentially offer. That's
No harm.
all.
Yeah, no, we have them.
That's fine.
I mean, my only concern is that, yes, we still own the plants, right, in the water district. And but and they claim that they will be the contact point to the residents.
Yes.
But I know the residents are gonna call this office.
Nobody
Right,
has
when
their
there's an
crystal
issue.
ball.
I mean, we have VRI as the operator now. Yes, they get calls, but
But we
I
could
guess
keep
I'll
the
just-
same.
well,
They said that you could keep VRI, you could keep all those things in place.
right.
I think it's just worth a listen by
Yeah.
the other members of the
Let's-
board, not
let's-
just me.
One thing I'd be curious just in hearing is that if we can have a presentation, possibly give information referable to how we can eventually transition out of the water business as a town.
We
That was
could.
up to me here too. So
Yeah.
if as part of a presentation, we finish up our infrastructure improvements, and as part of a presentation, they can give some kind of ideas as far as the concept to transition out of the water business at Oak Ridge, that would be something to hear too, if that possibility exists.
Yeah, no, that's we could pursue that, and I would be very receptive to that, like Heritage Hills did. They went to Viola. But the issue is that we have bonds from years ago when the town took over the plant, and usually when you transition, the bonds don't transition with the purchase. They can't, you can't sell until those bonds are paid off.
It doesn't necessarily have to be purchased.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I asked a certain number of questions based on what my brain can think of
Yeah.
on this particular topic,
Yeah.
right? We've got 5 brains here that can come up with numerous questions and give them the opportunity to respond. Perhaps after I hear the answers, I might not think it's such a great idea anymore. I don't know. But I think that with the 5 of us, if it can happen before the end of the year, that it's worth a listen. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they can sell us on what they're offering. And again, I want to keep the costs to the
It has
district,
to make sense.
Right.
to be as low as possible, so we don't want any added costs. So that's the concern.
Understood. I think we're up to the all in favor now.
Well, I just wanted to add one thing, that the most important thing is the quality of the water and the safety and consistency of service to the people in the water district.
I mean, we're gonna have to, yeah.
And we also have to do it legally as well. We can't
Mhm.
goof around as far as our legal obligation.
yeah, I think the next, just not to keep going off on a tangent, but the next part is the sewer side of the plant. That's gonna need some investment.
Okay,
So, yeah,
You roll call.
so shall we
Okay.
roll call this?
yeah. Roll call, I think.
That's you.
Roll call, Rich?
What's our vote here? We're talking.
Saying, right?
59,
59-60
Yeah.
for the first time.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Mary Shaw, aye.
Yeah, well shot.
okay. Did we do the second one? We spoke about it. Did
Yeah, we've done both of them,
We've done both.
new business only.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're up to public comment number 2 for the new business items. Anybody here would like to speak? Lena,
Elena down South Salem. We have a library fundraiser concert coming up Friday, November 21st, and we hope everybody can come out and support the library. And I want to thank the local businesses that donate
this
things.
is new business only.
The
The library presentation.
Oh, the library is here.
was
Okay, fine. Yeah,
discussed.
yeah. Okay, there you go. Sorry.
So come and help us fundraise. It'll help with the
Okay.
budget. I want to thank the sponsors for the concert. We have Lily's Deli, of course, Horse and Hound, Captain Lawrence, the new liquor store down in Vista, Country Liquor. They're donating wine, which is great. And I want to thank Mark Boyland for being our presenting sponsor. So I hope you see you on November 21st, Friday night, Susan Said concert.
Okay. Anybody else? No, how about on Zoom? Janet?
No.
Okay. All right, great. So we don't have claims this week to approve, so we'll skip over that. Polling of the board. I'll start with Andrea.
See, Veterans Day, hope to see you all there tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I was very sad today. I went to put my flag out and realized the flag that I have does not fit into the flagpole stand that I have attached to my house. And I have 2 on my house. So now I have to buy a new flag. So unfortunately, my flag will not be flying tomorrow as I anticipated. But I hope you celebrate your veterans. And I always think of my old friend Bob Castelli, who sadly passed away recently last year. On this day, he was always one to say that he would be visiting his friends at the cemetery. He was not one to celebrate, although he was a veteran, but he spent his time on Veterans Day at the cemetery visiting his friends. So keep that all in mind.
Okay, Mary?
I want to thank everyone who was involved in making the election a success. Not.
Well, it wasn't successful to me.
Well, I was just about
Just joking.
just about to say that, the important thing is the election happened and that it's been an honor to serve with Andrea Renda
Thank you, Mary.
as a fellow council member and stay engaged.
Thanks, Mary.
Oh,
Dan?
thank you to all the volunteers who worked at the polls.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Rich?
Just look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Veterans Day ceremonies, which start at 11 a.m. I believe. Right. And just I appreciate the library presentation, and it's I share the frustration and difficult financial areas. I think that the library board should take a serious look at taking a run at the taxing district. I think that based upon just what's being discussed and having had a long window to personally involved and see it, I think that that's something that should be looked at, or else it's going to be in a long-term financial situation. It's going to be problematic if that's not addressed, just based upon what hearing what's being done today. Because looking at the totality of the proposed increases over the last number of years have continuously been well into double digit. So I'm not saying there's not a need for that, but there's a need for really taking a look at the revenue source as well as increasing fundraising and just looking at bigger picture here. I think there's got to be a different look at how the library operates going forward, as well as adapting more, and I brought this up, adapting more to the times. We have, where things are in 2025. And I think that with the bright and talented people on the library board of trustees, it's a good challenge that we're up to. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Just a couple of things. So Andrea, thanks for your time on the board. I mean, we still have some more meetings, but it's been a pleasure and it was great. It was a great campaign. We actually ran into each other in Golden's Bridge. That was fun. Together with Adam. So I applaud Adam for throwing his hat in the ring. I've known Adam for many years. Nicole, congrats again on your new title. The other thing I have is the Vets Dinner on Saturday. So the Vista Boy Scout Troop cooked the dinner for veterans and also for senior citizens. So they delivered meals on Saturday. I was invited to their dinner at the Vista Fire Department. It was terrific. Well attended, lots of fun. So thank you, Vista Troop, for doing that. And
one.
Vista Troop 1. Yes, 101.
101.
Yeah, one was the other one. Yes, and tomorrow we have any vets out there that want to have a great breakfast tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. It's actually going to be here, the breakfast. So it's for veterans. So sorry, folks, can't all come unless you're a veteran. But then afterwards, the 11 a.m. ceremony here.
It's outside, right?
It's outside. We're trying to figure
Right.
out if we can move it in and, and maybe put it up on a screen for those who can't sit outside. So I'm working with our IT guys on that. The other thing is on Friday, Westchester County is having they're calling it a prescribed burn. I guess it's like a controlled burn at Ward Pound Ridge. And so if you see a lot of smoke, don't call the fire department. If you feel it's coming, if you see smoke, call the fire department. But if you see if it's coming from Ward Pound Ridge, you don't have to. The fire department is aware of this. And right now it's scheduled for sometime on the 14th on Friday. And I think that's all I have. So thank you all very much for coming out. Next, we have the town board meeting, Monday, November 24th at the townhouse here at 11 Main Street. And if there is a potential, I don't know yet, depends on how the budget discussions go. If we have another
Work session next
work
Monday.
session, maybe,
Okay.
but I'll keep you all,
No.
we'll keep you posted.
When?
The 17th, which is next Monday. Right now, I'm not looking to do that,
Okay.
but just in case, I just want to make sure.
So-
Okay, yeah. Okay, so now I'd like to go ahead and motion to go into executive session for personnel discussions.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye. All right, thank you everyone for coming out.